Matt, sadly an enforced break last weekend because of the issue with the stand here at SJP, but has that enforced break benefited your squad?
Time will tell in relation to that. Obviously, we were preparing for Barrow up until midday on the Friday, so we didn't have the extra days after the Harrogate game to sort of look after the players. It was, helter-skelter getting ready for the weekend, and obviously midday on Friday we got the news in relation to the game being called off, and then adapted accordingly. Had an in-house game of type of sorts on Saturday morning. But within that, we were also able to look after some of the players who were carrying niggles, knocks, strains, a bit of fatigue. So we didn't put anyone at risk on that Saturday. But they've trained really well this week. And obviously our focus shiftly turned to Bristol Rovers as soon as we knew the Barrow game was called off.
With that in mind, then, how does the squad look? I know there was a bit of an issue with obviously Sam Stubbs and Kieran Phillips.
Yeah, we expect both to be available. Both have done a little bit of training this week, so we'll assess them again in the morning. It's important. We know what Sam's injury. It was a difficult one when he came off, a painful one, but he's responded really well to treatment, and he's a tough boy as well. So he might just have to push himself through the pain barrier to stay available. And in terms of Kieran's knee, the swelling went down significantly towards the weekend, so he might have been able to play a part in that Barrow fixture, possibly not in relation to starting, but certainly play a part. And he's trained this week as well. So that must have been hopefully what we feel is a one-off reaction to when he scored the goal at Bradford, and the collision just caused us the swelling to come from nowhere. Strange that he played another 60 minutes or so on that knee after scoring a goal, but it just shows how things can change so quickly. So the rest of the group aren't in a bad place at all. Josh Key was looked after over the weekend. He's done a little bit of training this week, as has Archie Collins. Unfortunately, Podrick and Mond won't be available this weekend and for the next couple of weeks. But the rest of the group, bar Harry Kite and Nofron Zanzala, are in a good place.
Bristol Rovers they're in superb form at the moment. 4 clean sheets in a row, 3 wins in a row. It's certainly going to be an exciting game on Saturday.
Yeah, we hope so. We're going to a team in real form and convincing victories in the last few weeks. You mentioned the clean sheets, but scoring goals at will as well. And there's probably been a few trends in relation to the chances they've created and the goals they've scored, not only in recent weeks, for a period of time now with Bristol Rovers. They've got some fantastic players, some outstanding players for this level. But we're not in bad form ourselves. And on the back of the big high from 10 days ago against Harrogate, and we're going to go well supported as always. People spoke to me about this game weeks and weeks ago, and they, telling me the allocated tickets were sold out within, a small period of time, and that was a long way away from the fixture as well. And the fact that Bristol Rovers have been on such a good run would suggest that they'll fill the home areas of the stand as well. So hopefully it's a fantastic atmosphere. Always a good pitch, always a big pitch, always a good place to play football. Hopefully, as always, it's a good reflection on 2 good teams in League Two.
And I think as a player, certainly at a club that have the aspirations that we do, these are the types of games that you want to be playing, aren't they?
Yes, but you want to play at home to Barrow, you want to play away against Oldham, you want to play away against Swindon, Bristol Rovers. No game's different, Craig. And our mindset, regardless of who we're playing and regardless of how many fans are there, does not change. We want to go and try and win every single game of football. We want to go with a certain intent to implement our style on that game of football. We know it's going to be difficult this weekend, but there's 16 games left, and I want each and every one of my players to want to play in every minute of every game remaining, regardless of how they feel, any fatigue or any other issues. They've just got to keep putting themselves out there and putting their best version out there. And if we do that collectively, then we'll give ourselves a chance. But as always, it feels like a closer one because we don't have to go the night before or day before, and the fans can travel a relatively short distance on the day, and hopefully they'll enjoy that journey.
2 convincing victories over Bristol Rovers earlier in the season, but I think it's worth talking that this is a completely different Bristol Rovers side now, and they've made some excellent signings in January.
Yeah, they had a big recruitment push at the start of the season, and then another one in January, and probably bearing the fruits off the back of that as well. You touched upon the playing personnel and probably some structures and formations that are totally different to when we played them. So we've not looked back in terms of those fixtures. Those are a long way in the past. Feel a lifetime ago, so you're almost out of your memory. Our memory is pretty fresh in terms of what's happened in recent weeks, but we've got an idea of what to expect this weekend. And as much as always we speak about the opposition and what's happened in previous fixtures, it's about who plays the best on the day, and we'll be trying to do that. Like I I say, it's one we look forward to because it's the next one. And as soon as that one's finished, we look forward to Mansfield as well. So 16 huge games still to come, a third of the season in a short period of time as well. Just about over 2 months left in the season. So it's going to come thick and fast, and I'd hope it doesn't pass anyone by.
Naturally, when we're in the kind of form that we are at the moment, the support obviously grows, and it's another sellout away crowd on Saturday, up to 1,200 City fans up at Bristol.
Yeah, hopefully in good voice, hopefully respectful of the opposition and respectful of our team as well, and conducting themselves in the right way. But, as always, we want them to get behind us. We're going to have to give them a performance, give them something to shout about. They'll have to be loud because there'll be probably about 8,000 Bristol Rovers fans there as well. So, these are the bigger atmosphere games, similar to when we prepared for Swindon and Bradford, respectively, in the last few weeks. But like I spoke about, in terms of our mindset and approach to the game, nothing changes. And it's just great the fact that we can go to a certain ground relatively closer and well supported.
If you take a look at our next 3 games, Bristol Rovers, obviously Mansfield, and then Swindon, if those 3 games, judging by the table and the form guide at the moment, they are huge games. Do you see them as season defining perhaps?
No, not at all. Not with 16 games to go. If they were the last 3 games of the season, then possibly. But 16 games left, and a lot of games against different types of opposition. All competing for something, whether it's the top end of the table, whether it's the bottom end of the table, whether it's the next season, whether it's the playoffs. Teams are different in terms of their position in the league, but no different in terms of their output and their performance. So, it's been so difficult so far this season in terms of predicting how the opposition perform, how they turn up. And the next 3 games are no different. But we're not even looking to the next 2 games. We're just concentrating on what's directly in front of us, which is obviously a team in very good form. You mentioned 4 clean sheets in the last 4 games and scoring goals at will. So, we're under no illusions how difficult this weekend will be. But as always, we've got to back ourselves and back our style.